The truth is, love isn't hard for you to feel because you lack worth. It's hard because your body learned early that safety and affection were unstable. Trusting love means risking loss again, and your system has been trying to protect you from that pain. Healing here doesn't mean forcing yourself to trust. It means learning to notice when love triggers old fear instead of present danger. Each time you allow kindness to exist without immediately questioning it, you gently update your internal map. Slowly, your body learns a new possibility. Some love does not have to be earned. Part 1. When love was inconsistent, your nervous system learned to stay alert. When love felt unpredictable in childhood, your body learned a lesson long before your mind could put words to it. You didn't sit there and think, "This environment is unsafe." Instead, your nervous system quietly adjusted. It learned that emotional safety could change without warning. One moment you might be noticed or accepted, the next ignored, criticized, or emotionally abandoned. That inconsistency trained your body to stay alert. As a child, staying alert was not anxiety, it was survival. You learned to watch closely. You paid attention to moods, tone of voice, facial expressions, and silence. You became skilled at sensing emotional shifts before they were spoken. This helped you adapt in the moment. It helped you avoid rejection. It helped you stay connected in whatever way was possible. Now, as an adult, this shows up in subtle but exhausting ways. You may feel tense in relationships even when nothing is wrong. You scan conversations for signs of withdrawal. You replay interactions in your head, wondering if you said too much or too little. Your body often reacts before your mind does. A tight chest, a restless stomach, a sudden urge to pull back. This doesn't mean you are overthinking or broken. It means your nervous system is still operating on an old map. It learned that closeness requires vigilance, that connection can disappear without explanation, and that being prepared is safer than being relaxed. The painful paradox is that this state of alertness can make love feel stressful instead of soothing. Even healthy relationships can feel draining because your body is working overtime, trying to predict loss before it happens. You may crave connection deeply, yet feel calmer when you're alone, simply because your system can finally rest. What matters most is this. This alertness is not your identity. It is a strategy you learned in order to survive, and anything learned in an unsafe environment can slowly be unlearned in a safer one. Awareness is the first step. When you begin to recognize that your reactions come from protection rather than present reality, you create space for your nervous system to soften one moment at a time. If you grew up feeling unseen, emotionally alone, or quietly unwanted, there is a part of you that learned very early how to survive without being held. You may not describe your childhood as traumatic. Nothing dramatic had to happen. There may have been food on the table, rules in place, even moments that looked normal from the outside. And yet something essential was missing. The feeling of being emotionally chosen. The sense that your existence alone was enough to deserve warmth, attention, and care. When love is absent or conditional in childhood, you don't grow up thinking, "My parents failed me." You grow up thinking, "Something must be wrong with me." That belief doesn't always show up as self-hatred. Often, it hides inside competence, independence, humor, or emotional distance. You learn to be easy. You learn not to need too much. You learn to soothe yourself quietly because no one else seems available to do it with you. As an adult, this can leave you confused. You may function well, appear strong, and even support others emotionally, yet still feel a deep sense of disconnection you can't name. Relationships might feel exhausting, unsafe, or strangely empty. Compliments can feel uncomfortable. Closeness can trigger anxiety, and being alone might feel more familiar than being loved. This is not because you are defective or incapable of connection. It is because your nervous system learned a specific lesson very early. Attachment comes with risk. Love disappears. Needs create distance. Safety depends on self-reliance. Psychology doesn't see this as weakness. It sees it as adaptation. Your mind and body did exactly what they were designed to do in an environment where emotional care was inconsistent or unavailable. You became observant, self-sufficient, emotionally intelligent before your time. You survived by becoming inwardly strong. This video is not about fixing you. It's about helping you understand yourself. When you understand the logic behind your patterns, shame begins to loosen its grip. And when shame fades, something powerful takes its place. You can begin to separate who you had to become from who you actually are. And in that space, healing stops feeling like a repair job and starts feeling like a return to yourself. As an adult, you may be described as kind, understanding, or easy to be around. People may rely on you emotionally, yet inside, you often feel unseen. Your needs feel vague or hard to name. Asking for support can feel uncomfortable, even shameful, as if it might burden someone or push them away. This happens because you learned early that having needs did not bring comfort. It brought distance, so you learned to silence them. Over time, that silence became automatic. You may not even notice what you're missing until exhaustion sets in. The cost of being easy to love is that you rarely feel deeply met. You give more than you receive, not because you want to, but because receiving feels unfamiliar. When someone tries to care for you, you might deflect it or feel undeserving, while still craving that care on a deeper level. This isn't selflessness, it's self-protection shaped by early experience. You didn't choose to disappear emotionally, you learned. Awareness changes everything. When you begin to notice how often you adapt instead of express, you reclaim choice. You learn that closeness does not require self-erasure. Real connection is not maintained by shrinking. It grows when your presence includes your needs, your boundaries, and your full emotional reality. Part 4. Emotional numbness was intelligence, not failure. At some point, feeling deeply stopped, feeling useful. You may not remember deciding this. It likely happened quietly, over time, when emotions weren't met with comfort, understanding, or safety. Your system learned that intensity only led to disappointment. So it did something remarkably smart. It lowered the volume. Emotional numbness isn't emptiness, it's regulation. It's what happens when your mind protects you from feeling pain that has nowhere to go. Instead of overwhelming sadness or longing, you learn to detach, to observe rather than feel, to stay functional rather than vulnerable. As an adult, this can look like being calm in situations where others fall apart. You may be highly rational, self-contained, and composed, but underneath that stability, there's often a quiet sense of distance from others, and sometimes from yourself. Joy can feel muted, excitement can fade quickly. You may struggle to identify what you truly feel until long after the moment has passed. This isn't emotional deficiency, it's emotional efficiency, developed in an unsafe environment. Your system learned that not feeling was safer than feeling alone, and it worked. The challenge now is that numbness can become a barrier when the danger is no longer present. You may want closeness, depth, or passion, but feel disconnected when it appears. Your body still associates emotional intensity with risk. Healing here is not about forcing yourself to feel more. It's about creating enough internal safety that feelings no longer need to be suppressed. When you allow yourself to experience small emotions, curiosity, tenderness, subtle joy, without judgment or pressure, you teach your nervous system something new. You don't need to break open all at once. You don't need to relive the past. You simply need permission to feel without the expectation that something bad will follow. Over time, emotional presence stops feeling dangerous and starts feeling alive. The loneliness you once felt was never proof that you were unworthy. It was evidence that you were sensitive in an environment that couldn't meet you. And sensitivity, when no longer punished, becomes depth, wisdom, and emotional clarity. You now get to choose what love means. You get to decide that connection does not require self-erasure, that closeness does not have to come with fear, that you can remain whole while letting others see you. You don't need to become someone new. You don't need to fix who you are. You only need to recognize that the strength you built in silence can now support something gentler, a life where love is steady, where independence is a choice, and where you finally get to exist without bracing for loss. That isn't weakness, that is growth.